The courts have overturned the government's Data Retention Investigatory Powers Act that allows them to oblige many companies to collect all our data, who you phone, who you email. And they've done that because we weren't given time to discuss it in Parliament. MPs were only given a day. They've said to the courts have said to the government, go back and start again, do it properly. We've got 9 months to make this law proper now, to make sure it conforms with all the human rights law.
Every man's data, the phone data, where you are when you use your phone, who you're calling, whether you're calling a hotline, let's say a Samaritan's hotline, where you're going online, those sorts of things are all collected up. Not the content, but what you're doing, all collected up all the time and kept for a year under the current law. But what's wrong with the law, that may be necessary, but what's wrong with the law is then it can be accessed very easily. The police can ask another police officer, other agencies ask somebody else in the same organisation. Sometimes, of course, the Secretary of State gives approval, a politician gives approval. That's not good enough. It's got to be independent. It ought to be a judge, maybe a specialist judge, or an independent organisation giving approval. That's what the court has said is wrong. That's why this law is actually illegal, and that's what's got to be put right in the next 9 months.
We would not have brought this challenge in court had Parliament been given the proper amount of time to debate it. And we said to the government at the time that it would end up in the courts, and they ignored us. So this is about good governance. You know, good governance is about governments allowing the legislature to make legislation. But my party is the official opposition, and I'm determined that the Labour Party holds government to account properly. I never want to see a situation where we compliantly allow legislation to go through in a day.
It was obvious at the time that this law was flawed. And we both said so on the day. We said it won't last a year, and today is a year, exactly. So it was always clear to us that we had logic on our side, we had the law on our side, but you've got to understand, courts almost never overturn primary legislation, and they never strike down the government if they can possibly avoid it. So we had this balance of really, how brave was the court? And actually today the court was brave, it did its job properly, and it said to the government, you've got it wrong, you've got to do it again.